it's a very beautiful evening to you right here in the coast city of Enugu State. And you already know that it is time for Nka only on Afia TV, broadcasting live from Enugu, Nigeria. I am Jumaibulama Ashebu. Pleased to be here once again. And it's also in order to say a happy new month to every single one of you watching. We pray that this month is more amazing than the last. And I hope this is November for you to remember. I do love that catchphrase. We have gone through a lot. I don't know about you, but October was a lot. And I'm looking forward to November and most importantly, December, as I count down to 54 days until Christmas. Of course, we will not introduce the show without talking about Afia Homecoming, which is your gateway to every event this season. So perhaps you want to have fun or, celebrate, or would like to collaborate to promote your event this season. All you have to do is go to www.afiahomecoming.com for more information. And not forgetting, this is your chance to win 300,000 Naira this season. I'm talking about no other than My Enugu Story, and this is the 4th season of My Enugu Story. The theme for this year is the Enugu of my dreams. When you think about Enugu, what comes to mind? Do you envision a greener city? Do you envision a smarter city? I would like to know. Well, we will also like you to send your entries via article, photograph, or videos and tag us at Afia TV Official, and we'll definitely repost your post. But it's also important for you to understand that the most engaged post or entry will get an extra 100,000 Naira. So think about it for a minute. What would you do with 400,000 Naira this season? I know a lot of things I would do with 400,000 Naira this season, but I'm asking, what will you do? Remember, the deadline for this competition is the 22nd of November, 2024. As I love to say, may the odds be in your favor. We'll go for a quick break right now. When we do come back, I will be introducing a rather distinguished guest. Don't go anywhere. Nka, we'll be right back. You're welcome back to Nka Only on Afia TV, and I am Jumaibulama Ashebu. Remember, we're streaming live on DSTV 240 and GoTV 17, and we're also streaming on Facebook at Afia TV. So do well to go there and, of course, watch and join with us. My guest tonight is the Group Managing Director of Afrinvest West Africa Limited. He holds a BSc Civil Engineering from the University of Ife with first-class honors, and MPhil in Management Studies from Oxford University, where he is a Rhodes Scholar. He has also contributed to the financial markets development through various civic roles, such as the chairman of the FSS 2020 Capital Markets Committee of the Central Bank of Nigeria. And he's also a member of the Bond Markets Steering Committee of the Federal Debt Management Office. He is the current chairman of the Enugu State Technical Committee on Privatization and Commercialization and a member of the Enugu State Economic Advisory Committee. He's also the second vice president of the Association of Issuing Houses of Nigeria and the national secretary of the Rhodes Scholarship for West Africa. And he's also the chairman board of trustees, Enugu State Security Trust Fund. With a rich background in finance and economics, he has played a significant role in the development of Nigeria's capital markets and financial sector. Ladies and gentlemen, joining me tonight is no other than the wonderful Prince Dr. Ike Chioke. Good evening, sir. Thank you so much for joining us.
It's a pleasure to be with you, Jermaine.
I mean, it's important to say this on air. I said it off air, but I'm still going to say it. So, guys, I'll give you a little backstory as to what happened this week. This week was a lot of things that happened. I was supposed to communicate more with Prince Dr. Ike Chioke, and I was supposed to, we're supposed to discuss a lot of things. And life happened. A lot of things happened. And if I need to be honest with you all, I did not think that this interview was going to go on tonight. But I just want to publicly appreciate him, because I was going to tell him that I envy your children. Because he was very father-like, in spite of my flaws, in spite of the fact that I did not communicate effectively, you still came. So this is a public appreciation post to say thank you for joining us tonight. Thank you.
Life happens. I mean, you know about my personal life and how tough this week has been as well.
Yeah.
So I understand. And, there's a bit about Nigeria you can't predict. But when you explained that your phone died on you, I could quite empathize with that.
Thank you
but
so
for
much.
me, since we agreed the time, I put it on my schedule. I knew it was going to happen at 8 p.m.
Yeah.
So I just reached out about an hour and a half before to say, please reconfirm, so I can be there on time.
Thank you so much, sir. We appreciate you.
My pleasure.
So it's important for us to talk about your rather interesting story. I would not deny the audience the fact or the opportunity to hear it from you personally. But your story is rather interesting and it's very motivating, it's very inspiring. But now let's talk about schools you attended and your experience so far and how it has led you to the man you are today.
Well, thank you. If I think of schools I attended, the earliest memory would go back to St. Teresa's Primary School in Obioma. And I might have done maybe just early preschool among the kids, just sent there to waste while away time. That school is now called Central School, Obioma. It's now owned by the state. It's no longer a mission school. Then, beyond that, I remember St. Patrick's Primary School in Colcamp. And that's where I did the very early, at least finished primary 1, or actually started in primary 2 and 3. My parents lived in Abagana Street. And I do recall walking, with my elder brother and sisters to school and coming back in the evening. And then one day my dad told me that we are moving to GRA. Now, GRA was like this, this beautiful land beyond the mountain. And, here we're living in Colcamp, and all I knew was Colcamp and Obioma. And one day we moved to GRA and lived on Garden Avenue. Actually, not too far from here. Not far from here. Our house was one of the blocks of flats opposite the Central Bank. And then my father had a bigger two-bedroom flat. We had lived in 2 rooms when we were in Colcamp with communal bathrooms and everything. And it was at when we were in Garden Avenue that I started going to Ikulu Primary School. And I think that's when I began to sort of change. Obviously, coming from St. Patrick's to Ikulu, I didn't quite measure up easily. I think I came out like 34 out of 35 first term, or maybe 35 out of 36 second term in primary 3. Until one late uncle, blessed memory, Uncle Don, Dominic, he came to our house and said, you know what? Ikechukwu called me, I said, Smoke. If you come within top 5 in your class, I'll buy you a chopper bicycle. Now, I don't know what you know what a chopper bicycle was. In those days, a chopper bicycle was that, the biggest dream any young kid could dream for, because it had this irregular size wheels. So I think one wheel was sort of smaller in front and bigger at the back, with a very high handlebar. And, it just gave you this majestic position when you're riding it. And so, between when I then moved to primary 4, I think it was, I then started working very hard. I moved from that, being the backbencher, 34 out of 36, very quickly moved to 16 out of 34 next term, and before you knew it, I got to 4 out of 36 by the end of the year in primary 4. So now, moving now from primary 4 to 5 was the long holiday. And then I told my Uncle Dom, oh yeah, this bicycle, where is it?
I was going to ask if you did get it.
I didn't.
Oh, wow.
I didn't. My dad forbade him.
Oh, wow.
I said, hell no. I said, we didn't. He said himself didn't know that I had a brain inside me. It can't be that because someone had promised me a bicycle that I suddenly wake up and use my brain to study and work hard in class. No. If he gave me the bicycle, then that's it. I'll be ruined forever, because I will then go back to type and go back to the back of the class. Rather, I should recognize that it's my own effort that will be able to give me the position to buy the bicycles I want in the future.
How did you feel at that time?
I ran away. I was so distraught. I felt so cheated, so abandoned. How could someone betray me? including my own parents. My father said, look, Dom, if you buy this bicycle, you can no longer come to this house.
My goodness.
It was a big fight. So I ran away. Actually, I ran away in the morning, but the evening came. I was quite hungry. I had to sneak back into the house. So that was a summer of discontent, going from primary 4 to primary 5. But come the beginning of term in primary 5, something impressive happened. You know, in Ikulu Primary School at the time, usually at the beginning of the calendar year, they would recognize students that had performed well the previous academic year. And suddenly they are calling my name. I was never used to being called up, but they say best improved student in Ike Chioke, come up and get a prize and a recognition. I got that prize. Best in geography, Ike Chioke, come up.
Oh my
I
goodness.
came up again. Then I think best in mathematics, Ike Chioke, come up. So I collected 3 prizes at the beginning of term. I was so elated. And suddenly, you know, simple things like, I have to say this, I hope you don't mind.
I don't mind.
The girls in the classroom started noticing me. So
that's normal.
yeah. So, and the school also had this arrangement where, you know, there are 6 streams in each class. But streams E and F were where the brightest students were. Stream A, B, C, D were, so the most difficult students were like in A. Difficult were like the poorest grades. And then as you get better and better, you go to stream F, which is the very best. E, almost, you know. And I'd always used to be in class B, in fact, class B, C, I think A, B, and then suddenly I moved to 5F. So, and I was sort of met the brightest students in class, and, you know, and I was able to compete amongst them, get to meet new friends, and people sort of took you serious. You know, people came to ask your opinion on things, and that helped build my confidence. And I think that a very early discovery at primary school was perhaps the first, I would say, the booster rocket. You know, first of all, you need something to boost you.
Of course.
And that led me on to passing well in my, common entrance?
Yeah.
And then getting admission to Federal Government College, Jos.
Wow.
Yeah.
So a lot of people would want to know, I mean, your family was here in the Southeast.
Yes.
Why did you go to Jos when we have amazing schools like CIC? I mean, people would wonder that, I mean, you just continued here and look for one of those amazing schools, and why Jos?
I was the 4th in a family of 6 kids, plus many cousins, and, you know, I lived with us as though my parents' children, at least 3, grew up with us from birth, you know. So, and since I was coming behind at least 4 other older siblings who had all schooled in Enugu, and were now going to secondary school in Enugu, I just said, no, I needed to have this adventurous spirit. I needed to go somewhere else. And they said there's a Federal Government College that I was applying to with options to go wherever you could. So I just thought, why not Jos? I had an uncle who always told us these amazing tales of how he goes to the north, buys kola nut and things, tomatoes, onions, and comes back to sell in the east. And he was also in this trading business. And I thought, okay, he seems to think it's a nice thing. And he would tell us interesting stories about that. I had also another uncle who was working in the Federal Ministry of Works and, you know, always traveled around and would come home once in a while in his pickup, 404 pickup, you know, which he used for a lot of the company work, I mean, the government road works. So that sort of inspired me to think of Jos, just somewhere. So I just applied and I was admitted.
Interesting.
Yeah, and then I got to discover Northern Nigeria.
Now let's talk about your adventure in Northern Nigeria. I'm from the north, and if I recall correctly, the first time I went to Maiduguri, I'm from Borno, Maiduguri. And the first time I went to my town, my state, I think one of the first things I discovered was the big flies, the very extreme weather. If it's hot, it's extremely hot. If it's cold, it's extremely cold.
Yes.
Of course, the language shock for me, because I mean, I was struggling with learning Hausa, learning to speak Hausa, and you know, going to my village. to find out that all my effort was all in vain because they don't speak Hausa.
Really?
Yes. So we have tribes, and it was Margi. So I needed to now learn Margi. And it was just a whole thing.
Wow.
So to see someone who's not from the north, coming to the north, I'm rather interested in your adventure and what you experienced when you got there.
My first arrival was obviously the ecosystem of Federal Government College, and there were so many other kids from all over Nigeria, from the southwest, from the south, of course, southeast. Well, Nigeria wasn't configured as 6 geopolitical zones at that time, I recall. I think there are 12 states of Nigeria, not even 19.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, can you see how far back it is? I don't want to admit how old I am. So, but I met a lot of other kids from around Nigeria. I know there's some very good friends from Bendel State, Kaduna State, So just getting to know them just made me understand and recognize Nigeria is all just the same. Simple people trying to make a living and get to know each other and get along. So that was the ecosystem of Federal Government College. But in terms of the weather, if you think about extreme weather, Jos is far more extreme than many places I know. Because when it's cold, it becomes very cold. In fact, it was so chilly because I went up in September and I was going through the period September, October, November. We were finishing almost beginning of December to come home. I was already freezing by December from the cold. Because compared to Enugu, where you have humidity and temperatures in high 20s or early 30s centigrade, Jos was sometimes doing like mid-teens in the afternoon.
Yeah.
So that was quite an experience. I remember going back the second term, and my mom had bought me
a very thick sweater.
Not just a thick sweater. She bought me. Can I say this on air?
Yes, you can.
Oh gosh. She bought me this
like pantyhose or leggings or
yeah,
joggers?
these leggings to get because I have to wear shorts.
Yeah.
So the leggings help me keep my feet, my legs warm.
Yeah.
So I had dark legs, and people always wondered, not wearing trousers, wearing shorts, but legs are dark, and I had just to keep me, warm enough, during the stiff breeze that you get when you're walking across the, playing fields of the school to go from your hostel dormitories to the classroom. Did
you ever try, I know you did not have a choice, but what did you think of the northern meal? Talking about tuwo and the different soups. Did you have a struggle?
I think I did some fura dununu for a time.
Oh,
yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it wasn't just I discovered yogurt.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
Fresh.
Okay.
Yeah.
But do you have a struggle because, you're used to Southeastern meals, going there to meet...
No, for the most part, the refectory, as they called it in school, served, basic, staple from across Nigeria. Rice.
Okay.
In fact, rice was not as common, because rice was like a special meal. Back in those days, Nigeria's agricultural standards were much higher. So there's a lot more of Nigerian food that we ate. Of course, soups, all these different soups, plantains, squash, all kind of things that they made that was quite healthy. But on 2 days a week, I think on Wednesdays and on Sundays, we had rice, maybe a bit of ice cream. So you look forward to those because it's a special, but you didn't eat rice every day like it's now commonplace. It's a pity because we're importing much of our rice, I think,
Of course. I wish we could export more than we import, now that I think about it. But now, going through your years in Jos and finally leaving for the university, what really inspired your choice of location?
Okay. Again, that itch to go somewhere else. While I was in Jos, as part of the Geographic Society, and managed to get to tour Maiduguri, actually.
Interesting.
Yes, in those days, Nigeria was safe. So the geography teacher could organize an excursion, and the school bus would take us on a trip from Jos to Maiduguri, and we did. We went from Jos to Kainji Dam to go and see Kainji Dam. Went from Jos to go to see Yankari Game Reserve. We went from Jos to Kaduna to visit the Peugeot automobile plant. Back in those days, Nigeria was manufacturing cars. My dad was driving a Peugeot, so I was proud to tell him that I went to a place where they make the cars, and I could see what was happening.
Wow.
Of course, the short trip like going from just the school, Bukuru Road, was where the school was at the time, to go to the airport at Rayfield, to see the planes land. Those are just commonplace. But just the ability to see much of Nigeria from Jos, and I realized I had actually seen the southwestern part of Nigeria. So when it came for university, I decided to apply to University of Ife. It's now called Obafemi Awolowo University, OAU. And I'd read up on some of the universities. Then there was no internet, mind you. So just encyclopedias or books you could find about. I knew about Lagos, but they talked about the hustle and bustle of Lagos. I knew about Ibadan, the history and rich culture of UI. But then they said there was this special university in Ile-Ife that's just beautifully done, architecturally a marvel. The drive from Road 1 into the university is just incredible. So that mesmerized me. As a kid, I'd taken up reading quite early. Even in primary school, I was reading like James Harley Chase novels that my big brother had, and Mills and Boone novels that my sisters were reading. I read all of them. I devoured books. And so I managed to read a lot. And I thought, I think Ile-Ife is the place, A bit of architectural planning, in a nice, serene environment should do it. And I applied.
Why civil engineering?
Oh, civil engineering, I think I remember my late uncle, Uncle Mike, and he was a civil engineer. And you know how you look up to someone, you always seem to have more cash than everybody else. And I'm like,
You're
sorry.
Financially motivated.
My dad is a civil servant. And, he didn't never have much cash. But Uncle Mike was younger, dazzling, had a nice house in New Kessie Road in Onitsha, GRA, semi-detached duplex, in a large compound. My parents had moved to GRA, had a nice flat but we were sharing with, 5 other occupants. And this guy is only one neighbor in a bigger compound. So he was just somebody I admired so much. And, and I'd went, each time I go during the holidays during my days in Jos, I'd go and spend a holiday, a few weeks during the long summer breaks with him, and go to some of the construction sites or road sites with him when he can take me along. I just marveled at, the idea of doing civil engineering, and having decided on Ife, I decided I'm going to do civil engineering because that was the appeal.
Interesting. We'll go for a break right now. When we do come back, we will continue this rather interesting conversation. Don't go anywhere, Nka. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Nka Only on Afia TV. It's been such an amazing time with Prince Dr. Ike Chioke. He's been taking us through his journey so far. And, during the break, I had to tell him, I was like, sir, this exclusive with you, I don't think 1 hour is going to be enough to dig deep into the wealth of your experience and your rather adventurous, story and life. But, it's still a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you. I'm enjoying it, Jermaine. Go ahead.
And what we're saying...
But 1 hour is what you have. That's
1 hour is what I have. But what we're saying during the break was Afia Swipe. So it's something funny we do behind the scenes. So when we want to come back, you have the MCR say, Afia Swipe. So you're telling me that they're swiping on you and you're about to come back.
Okay,
I know it sounded like Afrinvest.
Okay. I was like, oh, come on.
No. All right. So there's something we do on the show when we get to appreciate our guests.
Okay.
Make them feel loved, make them feel appreciated, and somewhat put a smile on their face.
Okay, go ahead.
So right now, I would like us to surprise Prince Dr. Ike Chioke and make him smile tonight. I know you guys are ready, as we are. I wonder what you're expecting. What are you expecting us to do right now?
Bring a cake or something?
I like cakes too. What's your favorite flavor?
No, what about, are you going to do a Doribe arrival with champagne bottle?
What's your favorite flavor of cake?
Red velvet.
That's okay. Chocolate is still king, but that's okay.
If it's chocolate, it has to be really soft and fresh.
I know. Dark forest chocolate cake.
Yeah. They don't do it well enough here. Sometimes too much sugar for me.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. Well, we're about to put a smile on Dr. Ike Chioke, and I know that our studio is ready in just a bit. I guess we'll come back to that when they're ready. It's important to continue the conversation, especially from where we stopped, talking about University of Ife, civil engineering, which was inspired by your uncle. I mean, during holidays, you went to him, okay, they're ready for you, and I'd like you to look on the screen right there. I mean, that's a fantastic photo of you.
Oh, thank you.
I mean, everywhere I look, this is a photo I see on LinkedIn.
Oh, wow. How did you get that one? That was this summer on vacation.
You look very happy there.
Yeah.
Where was that?
That is in Halkidiki. Oh, wow.
Wow.
I'm
seeing the abs. I'm like, wow.
That was my birthday picture.
Oh, wow.
I'm showing off that 58. I was taken last year.
Oh.
I still had abs, six pack.
You still do. I saw that.
Oh, wow. Who's a celebrity again?
Bobby.
Bobby, yes. I know Bobby. He and I go way back. He's a member of Fitness Factory Gym in Lagos.
Oh.
I own the gym.
Okay.
So amongst my other things, I'm into fitness. As you can see from the abs.
I can, exactly. I was going to say that.
Wow.
I mean, you look...
you get this. This is...
you look rather fantastic.
Ibiza.
Oh, wow.
This is Ibiza. That's last year as well. Wow.
You look very happy in this photo. Oh, wow.
I look at that one, Infinity Pool. Oh, there we go, Uncle Kano. Yes, This is when I did the Princess Cup. I'd sponsored a tournament in Enugu State. I think only in Udi. All the communities in Udi, local government, were invited to compete. Okay, I'd gone out for a run around Okpara Square with my nephew, Emmanuel. So Emmanuel is my running mate. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I wrote this book, Aboko Edike, for my friend Willie Obiano, who was governor of Anambra State for 8 years. And when he was leaving, I said, look, I'm going to surprise you.
Oh, wow.
And I put this book for him together. Oh, that's His Excellency, Governor Peter Mba. We had gone separately to watch a football game, the Africa Cup of Nations. And we met at the airport. And so I was wearing the jersey. He was wearing the home jersey. I was wearing the away. Now, this is an interesting story. That's Chukwuka Chikuma. It's my buddy in New York back in this would have been around 1993 or 94. We took this picture. We drove from New York to Florida, the two of us. And we drove through a part of the country called the Ku Klux Klan. So that's my darling, Yvonne, my wife. This is about the time we're getting married in 2003 in the Krasnapolski Hotel in Amsterdam.
Wow.
Yeah.
This is so beautiful. I was going to ask where you did.
Oh, that's me. That's with Peter. When Peter was running Pinnacle Oil, we had gone to Den Haag to go and talk to a company called Vitoil or something like that. And this was me. He was my client. And me working. We flew together to London, to Amsterdam, drove to Den Haag to talk to this company to support his investment. He was building this massive facility for him. Oh, that's me with my youngest daughter, Anouk.
Oh.
Wow.
So beautiful.
How do you guys? This is all on public. You get all of this. This is my whole life. Yeah, I'm in the public domain.
So, when we're done with these photos.
Okay, that's with me and Chukuk again. This was on our road trip. We stopped in Atlanta for a couple nights. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
This is me working. Where is this? It doesn't look like any of my homes. I've seen outside. This is Innocent. I went to visit Chief Innocent in his house in the Nnewi.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. That's the case. Innocent Vehicle Motors at the back. This is Timmy Dakola.
Yeah.
Timmy is a friend of mine. He came over. I think this is my birthday. That's with Tony Lumelu. This picture would have been taken in London just before the COVID broke out. We were at the London O2, what do you call it? O2? Arena, yeah. Oxford and Cambridge Club of Nigeria. I think I was one of the members of the executives, and I was, we had done this themed party. Okay. Everybody was supposed to dress in sort of kind of Western look, and I had a hat on. I was in Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, yes. Is that UK Africa Summit? Same time I was with Tony Elumelu. Ngozi and I go way back. Mr. Okonjo-Iweala, yeah.
Oh, wow. Interesting.
Yeah. Yep. Me just working away somewhere. I think this was taken in Edo State.
Okay.
Yeah, I remember this picture taken by one of the official photographers of this. Where is this? Nnamdi. That's my very close buddy, Nnamdi.
Oh, wow.
He's outside. He came with me, actually. Nnamdi Ebu.
Shout out
and that's one. This is in Benin, Obaseki. And that's my late aunt, Uzo. This was at the funeral of my grandmother in 2008.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, Uzo is my dad's younger sister. They both passed on now. Yeah.
Oh, you're so rest in peace.
Amen.
So,
nice.
What we do with this photo is
that's memory lane.
Yes, we take you down memory lane, and we, just reminisce on how far you've come, and to let you know that we appreciate you. And of course, we're looking forward to more amazing things that are to come.
Indeed, thank you very much.
My producer is fantastic, and I need to say this. G-Song MIFR is yes. So we were still talking about we're going to move forward in our conversation because we just took you back in memory lane, So I was going to ask you a question, and I think off air we're talking about it. If someone was to ask you your proudest moment, the accomplishment you're most proud of, apart from your immediate family, because everyone is most proud of. I mean, if you ask someone about their life's journey and their accomplishments, nothing is as important as family. That's the most important.
So if I draw I say, okay, aside from family, wife, kids, okay. It's actually not the big laudable ones like working in Wall Street at Goldman Sachs, or or being a Rhodes Scholar, at Oxford, or being in commanding heights of of commerce and Afrinvest or the board of MOFI, Ministry of Finance Incorporated. Oh, by the way, your bio of me is a bit dated, so it has some things that I've dropped out, and you have a lot you didn't add. But we'll come to that afterwards.
Okay.
I think my proudest moment was when I was trying to, I built a house in my village in Obioma, in Ameke, Obioma, with the local government. And I thought, it would be nice to have a road that goes from the main road, Enugu Onitsha Old Road, to just get to my house, which is about 2 kilometers, let's say, probably 1.5 kilometers. And I thought, costed it out, they told me the amount. I said, but why this house you're going to build, it's a house that you go to on appointment, maybe total use will be 2 to 3 weeks, a year. And now you're going to put a nice road on it. But there are many things that are missing in the village. So I had a reflection, and I started really making an investigation. Eventually, I determined that I'm going to build and renovate the school, the primary school. I eventually started that project in 2021, middle of 2021, and finished and commissioned it by December of the same year. And today, the government is talking about smart schools, which are coming up. But I'm proud to say my smart school has been around for 3 years now. And we have nearly 220 students. We've got 10 classrooms, an ICT center, an e-library. We've got Starlink's internet access.
Interesting.
I've got, the school has, water, his and hers for, toilet facilities. So the girls don't have to worry. There are cleaners that clean the school. There's security. There's solar panel lights, lithium battery. Everything's well equipped. And that was something I felt, you could have used it on something. Yeah, the road would have helped the community, but a school is far more powerful. And the icing on the cake in that particular one was one time the head teacher told me that she was on her way to Enugu because there was a competition on ICT that the school had been invited to. One of the pupils had done so well. They went for the competition. Guess what? Came to Enugu and bested some of the kids in the best schools in Enugu.
Interesting.
So that, for me, was the proudest moment. To see how far, what happens when you give people opportunity in life. And for me, I've had opportunities in life that came from just that random act of generosity or some kind of inspiration. I told you about the first booster.
Yeah.
When my uncle promised me a chopper bicycle.
Of course.
And many kids may not have that opportunity, but then at least in Obioma, all the kids there can have the benefit of a decent primary school until the new one, His Excellency's building, comes up. We have a smart school being built about 2 kilometers down the road. But it's good to have two.
Of course.
And so even all the more for the better.
You know, from what you all said, what comes to mind is legacy. What you will be remembered for, because that's one of the questions eventually I was going to ask you. All you've done and how much effort you've put in a lot of things you've done in your lives and your accomplishments and your achievements. Legacy is very important, and it's something I feel everyone should think about in living your life in general. How would you like to be remembered? What would you like to be remembered for? But we'll get to that. I want to ask a rather interesting story. How did you meet your wife? I mean, we saw the lovely photo with your wife.
So at the time, I was working for Salomon Smith Barney, an investment banking firm based in London. And we were advising the government of Kenya on the privatization of Telecom Kenya. So I was the lead investment banker. I was the vice president in the firm at the time. I'd flown in overnight from London to Nairobi, landed to organize what we call the Bidders Conference. Several companies had bid to buy the telephone company of Kenya, equivalent to what Nitel was.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, so the equivalent in Kenya was Telecom Kenya. So 3 companies have been shortlisted out of about 12 bidders, and these 3 will now go to the final round to determine the one final. So I then needed to have this bidders conference with all these 3 companies and their technical team. And so it was in the boardroom on the 24th floor of Telecom Kenya Towers, downtown Nairobi. And in the boardroom could sit maybe 24 people. We were not expecting more than 20, and they're all black men. I came with an associate of mine who was a young Greek boy, man now, Natos. So he was the only Caucasian in the room. And then in walked this tall, beautiful, blonde, green-eyed girl wearing, wait for it, orange skirt suit.
Wow.
So she stood out. I mean, if she wasn't white and she was wearing an orange skirt suit, she would have stood out anyway. But, so you can imagine my, shock. So I put on my most corporate British accent, organized the meeting. Anyway, we got to know each other. One thing led to another. And ultimately, our deal worked out. I have to say, suffice it to say, the government of Kenya backed out on selling the company.
Wow.
Just when we were about to close, they decided, no, we're not going to approve the sale for political reasons. But I had met my wife by then.
And that was the most important
thing. And we moved on with our own deal. So,
all right. So
that was in 2000, in December 2000.
Okay. For lack of time, let's talk about the Enugu State Security Trust Fund and, of course, the plans. We did talk about this off air, where I was talking about this being birthed from the need to secure Enugu, to improve the GDP, and, of course, to bring back foreign investment. Very briefly, what would you say we should be looking forward to with regard to the plans that the Enugu State Security Trust Fund has?
Well, I think the Enugu State Security Trust Fund, what people should remember, it's not a government thing. It's what we call a public-private partnership.
PPP.
PPP is between us, the people, and the state as a government. Because if you really think about security, every bit of us should be involved in security.
Of course.
Like driving into this compound, you have a gate man.
Yeah.
Okay. Before I drove into this estate, there was another gate man. You can see how you're already conscious about security.
Yeah.
But you may leave the gate of the estate and then something happens to you just between the junction and Central Bank, which is less than half a kilometer. Why shouldn't that bit be secure? Is it because the ministry offices are there and they've gone to bed at night? I mean, they are not working at night. You see what I mean? Because close to the secretariat.
Exactly.
So if you think about it from a security consciousness, all of us should take security to heart. Because if we secure not just our homes or our streets, but secure not just even the neighborhoods, but the entire city, the entire state, then it's easier to do. Then all of us can have the peace of mind to wake up and go anywhere we want to, anytime we wish to.
Of course.
Because then that safety will allow you to run this station 24/7. You know that?
Definitely.
And that means more time to self-advertisements.
Of course, and
that means more money.
Exactly.
So securing ourselves means securing progress, which is the mantra of Enugu State Security Trust Fund. We launched it with a media event a couple of weeks ago, And we are going to follow up with our first physical launch in Lagos.
Okay.
And then subsequently move it back home to come and do a massive launch in Enugu.
Okay.
But the call is for people to go to our website.
Okay.
www.essstf.ng. Again,
Okay.
essstf.ng. And there you can just click and donate.
Okay.
You know, there's over 5 million people in the Enugu state. If you think that over 2 million people of adult age, 40% at least, if I ask each person to donate 1,000 naira a year, how much have we raised? 2 billion naira.
Interesting.
2 billion naira is more than enough to ensure that all the security guards are monitoring those streets, all these dark spots we're just talking about. And so just that. Talk about the small businesses, every vulcanizer, every mama put, or bring 10K a year. Not a month though.
Yeah, a year.
You know, in no time, we can build that pot of 20 billion naira. The governor has set a target for us. And that, together with governmental resources, you know, we'll make sure that all the security forces, the age vigilantes, the gate, you know, if gate man is there and there's a camera that is also monitoring, you know, he has more information.
Definitely.
Even in the dark, you could put a, what they call infrared camera, you can still see stuff.
Of course, security is everyone's business. Correct. Which is why we definitely need to do more. And of course, just like Prince Dr. Ike Chioke said, you can go to the website at www.essstf.ng. That is www.essstf.ng to donate and of course be a part of this public-private partnerships that help the government secure Enugu State.
Correct.
As we go, we would like you to sing your favorite song.
Gosh, that's tough. My favorite songs, I can't sing them. First of all, I don't have the voice.
We just need, even if it's just a line, just give us something as we say goodbye.
Gosh, that's too hard. Okay, let me go for flavor.
Okay. We're here.
What was that latest one they did?
Which one? You know the funny thing is when they ask you to sing a song, nothing comes to mind.
Yes, I can't sing it. Michael Jackson is one of my favorite artists.
Okay. So
yes, wanna be starting something.
Okay, so let's have it.
No, I can't sing it. I'll just give you the title.
Okay.
Wanna be starting something.
All right. Thank you so much for joining us. I wish we had more time. But of course, we'll definitely have a second part of this very soon, I hope.
Well, it's been a pleasure, Jumaine.
Thank you so much.
I look forward to coming back sometime.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And on that note, we say goodbye. Do well to follow us on all our social media platforms as Afia TV Official. And it's important that you keep a date with news tonight only on Afia TV. I remember Jumai Bulama Ashewu telling you to have a fantastic night and, of course, a fantastic weekend. Bye for now.